You can tell us a little bit about yourself for our audience and about, we already know about your work, but for our audience, if you
Yes,
can tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Sanjay Aparanti. I am retired police officer. Worked with Maharashtra Police for 23 long years, and thereafter I took voluntary retirement. Basically, I am a medical doctor. I did my MBBS, MD from Grand Medical College. Then I did MA in sociology, bagged first position in the university. Then I did MSc criminology from University of Greenwich, London. And finally, I completed my LLB just last year.
Okay.
Now we are running an institute for basically downtrodden people, not only people belonging to Buddhist community, but all people who really have been underprivileged, to make them ready to write the competitive examinations, maybe UPSC, MPSC, and equivalent examination of state of Maharashtra, so that just because of no privilege, no one should remain behind the mainstream people. It is basically to develop a class of society armed with Ambedkarite ideology to enter into administration in order to bring about a social change. That's what we have been doing for last 2 years, and we wish to continue this noble work so that people from all downtrodden society, basically proletariat, to get into the mainstream and prove that they are much better than the mainstream people, those who have had privileges right since 5,000 years. And these people have been deprived also for last 5,000 years. We just want to make it a point that in administration, the moment Ambedkarite person enters, he does perform his the rights and privileges and his duty rather in a way which does bring about the equality to entire society. That is what is our intention behind conducting this kind of a project.
Right. Okay. Coming back to why we are here, 10th of October was a very important day for Dalit Ambedkarite Buddhists from across the world. It marked the 60th anniversary of Dikshadhamma Day. And then what surfaced in Nashik is something which many of us didn't know for a long time, till slowly our own people from our own community started talking about it and started trying to put the word out there. So can you take us through what really happened in Nashik and what are the reactions which came from the police? Basically, take us through what happened.
See, basically, going by what happened, or rather the incidents part of it, I would like to narrate the background. The background is for last almost a month and a half, there has been, after Kopardi incidents where the Maratha girl was raped, assaulted, and finally she died, which was a very bad kind of a thing to have happened in a place like progressive state like Maharashtra. But thereafter, the Maratha community got completely polarized under the banner that we Maratha should not spare anyone doing any kind of a nuisance to us. Now this basically had made them organized completely, and they went out with the processions, morchas. Almost in every district this was done. And thereafter, I was all the while apprehensive that whether this would lead to some kind of a commotion in the future, because since they are organized, they are majority, and moreover, in that, with the reference to that kind of an offense, they were constantly voicing their sentiments against Buddhist. So I was, as a police officer also, although retired, I had an apprehension if something goes wrong, what would be the reaction of these kind of organized people. And it so happened that on 8th of this month, in a village called Talegaon in Nashik district, a girl allegedly was molested by a minor boy. Girl was around 5 years and boy was around 14 to 15 years. And it so happened that there was a very violent kind of a protest all of a sudden happening. It's not as if people felt that was that really, it spread like a wildfire, or somebody took interest in it in gathering all those people together. Now it so happened that the minister visited, and minister happened to have a declaration on a very particular day about the incidents, the guardian minister, saying that just be quiet because the medical examination has been conducted and there has not been a rape. Maybe there is just a molestation, but the girl is of 5 years and the boy is of 15 years. Now immediately after this kind of a revelation by the minister based on facts, there was a very violent reaction from people. And amazingly, majority of the crowd which had gathered there was consisting that of youth. And many of them were wearing same t-shirts which they had put on while having those morchas, Maratha Kranti Morcha. And then it so happened that, they tried to vandalize the car of the minister, vandalize the car of the police officers. They had to literally run away from that, incident spot. And the Talegaon, which the place where it had happened, and where they had gone to find out exactly what happened. And then thereafter, these people on the next day gathered and they started, one by one, they started entering villages where Dalits or rather Buddhist community people were in absolute minority. And you know that whatever is the progress of the nation, but Dalits have still not been, given the entry into the mainstream, and they just do not have any prosperity. They are hand-to-mouth people, shanty houses, and in spite of that, these people collectively got together and then they started entering villages, assaulting their, religious places. At some of the places, they even vandalized Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's statue. They started playing football with that head of the vandalized statue, and even Buddha's statue was vandalized. The fans were broken, window panes were broken, houses were burned, gutted, and they were also broken. All utensils were thrown, and the eating material, that also was thrown, and they simply started beating people. And they did not spare even women. One of the women, old lady, her eye popped out, left eye or right eye popped out. And they used every kind of a weapon, sword, sticks, and every whatnot. And in that particular kind of a situation, people were just, they left their houses, homes, and they just ran to the jungle. Some of them since then have left their homes and they're staying with their relatives in some other, villages, where they feel that Dalits are in a good number, Buddhist community members are in good number, and they feel that they would rather be protected in case if someone chases them. Now, in this situation, when we realized it, we started doing a systematic survey of all these villages. Villagers started coming here, and it so happened, amazingly, as a police officer, I feel ashamed of saying that the police committed kind of atrocities. We have the bare footage of those atrocities, and they just entered the houses in the name of search. They tried to commit every kind of assault and atrocity against the Dalit community member. They did not spare even women. They did not spare the old people also. So basically, Dalits are now facing two-pronged assaults. One from the majority community Marathas, and second is from the state or from the police authorities, which rather they, first of all, they felt insecure. They being in minority, they are poor, they are not privileged, they are not given proper positions, and on the top of it, police, which is supposed to protect, and it is the police is legally bound to protect. It is their bounden duty to protect the minority community. Instead, they took a role of onlookers, and at certain places they even instigated, and on the other places, in the name of registering offences against Dalit community members, they started doing house searches, they started arresting people, and so many of them at the moment are arrested and put behind bar under the fictitious FIRs which have been registered against Dalit community in various police stations. That's what is the situation today.
Actually, you said that the mob vandalized the car of a minister, guardian minister. Okay, so although guardian minister is not Dalit, so why they vandalized the car of?
They vandalized his car. You're right. He's not a Dalit person.
And then second question is that what was the result and what is the result that medical examination of that girl?
Medical examination, I have not seen the papers, but what minister said, that medical examination, although conducted by 3-4 doctors, one after the other, as the request went on increasing, it does not say that the penetrative rape has happened.
So from what you have to say and from what we've been hearing, three things are evident. One, the press has had no role to play in these riots, meaning that they very willingly did not cover or write about these incidents. National media and the local media. Second, the police has has been hand in glove with the dominant community as far as furthering the destruction on the community and furthering the atrocities on the community is concerned. And third is the local government, be it, let us look at this as the Maharashtra government itself, has not been active, rather it has been silent. It has been a silent spectator of what has happened. So we can see all these three coming together and an attack on the minority community here, like you said, that is the Dalit community. Do you think that putting these things together, you can also see some sort of a political game involved here?
Definitely a political game. On the contrary, I would say that number of people know it, that it is the MP, the MLA and corporators, they all are involved in it. Many times it is so pathetically seen that they have been instigating people. The corporators have been instigating majority community people to commit atrocities against Dalits. Corporators have been seen asking police authorities. Even the MP has been asking police authority that why don't you register offences against Dalit community members and arrest them all. So it is such a situation at the moment. You rightly pointed out that there are three people who are against. One is politicians, second is the state government through its machinery, maybe collector, maybe superintendent of police, maybe commissioner of police, maybe deputy commissioner of police and the constabulary. And third part is the community. So Maratha community, which is very well off, majority community, have not been shown any kind of mercy towards Dalits. Never in the past, and with this incidents, they are out in arms against Dalit community members and backed by government through their corporators, through their MPs, through their MLAs, and at the same time police is on their side. So situation is such, I just see this situation similar to what had happened in Marathwada. For 6 months it went on. It is going on right now. It's happening right now. So there is no, I don't see an end to it, because the end would come only when government is willing to bring about an end. On that particular time, we had even given the petition to CM, And on one of the mainstream channel, Maharashtra One, conducted by interviews and the debate conducted by Nikhil Wagale, I had clearly, categorically said that unless the chief minister visits the place and goes to villages, from village to village, there cannot be everlasting peace. Maybe they want it to happen. Maybe they want it to continue. Maybe it is a very big design. Who knows? Maybe it is a conspiratory act. To an extent, if it is a conspiratory act, then they all are considered to be, supposed to be the perpetrators of the riots, of orchestration of riots, and the atrocities committed against the Dalit and basically Buddhist community.
And what can happen as a result of this?
As a result of
Meaning,
this,
they are responsible for what will happen as a result of this, which as I see could be a further escalation in violence.
there might not be escalation in violence because the corporation elections are forthcoming. Or, from that to gain political mileage, they rather would not go for it. But they would try and take, almost every possible Dalit youth, they would book under some kind of an offense and put them behind bar. Or at least they would initiate cases against them so that the Dalit youth is permanently damaged and they do not get any kind of an opportunity to enter any kind of a government job. Otherwise also the government jobs are so less that they don't get it, and with this they would not be able to get it furthermore. So I feel that with this, and moreover the Dalit, if you see a general morale of the Dalit community, it has gone so low that people are not even scared to come to our institute, this place, which is giving them shelter, which is giving them food, which is giving them clothing. To every member we are trying to give some kind of an assistance, which state has completely failed. They are even scared to come to this place. With this, you can imagine what must be the mental state of affairs of the members of Dalit community. It is at the lowest ebb, I must say. Their morale has gone so down. At this point of time, it is rather a duty of the government machinery to go from village to village and encourage people to come back to their villages, give them compensation, make panchanamas, find out how much has been the damage of vehicles. So many vehicles have been burnt. Now a Dalit boy somehow manages and gets 50,000 in 3-4 years from his father or by his own petty earnings, and has his motorbike because one feels very confident. And there he feels that, well, now I can do whatever I feel like. I can excel in studies. I can go ahead and, try and imitate what Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has done in his life. He was also poor. That's a point of inspiration. And for which the motorcycle which these boys have purchased, can you imagine at one go 30 motorcycles were just burnt? They started pelting the stones, the students and the villagers and the youth. They had come to Trirashmi Leni, which is a place where there are Buddhist caves. And they were just returning from there to their village. And suddenly the stone pelting started from majority community, from the nearby hillock. And all boys ran away. Those motorcycles were collected. They were burnt collectively, and they were put together in a van, and all those motorcycles at the moment are there in the yard of police station. Now, are police not supposed to register an offence, those who did it? Are police not supposed to make panchanama of those places, of those the motorcycles which were burnt? How are they going to compensate? If they are not registered an offence, if they are not made the panchanama, they will not be able to give the compensation also. Now that compensation part of it also at least is due. going by legal process, how much ever time it takes, that's immaterial for me at the moment. But at least these primary things to be done, registering an offence, making a panchanama. Now when these vehicles are collected and put there in the garage of police, how do you expect them to conduct the panchanama? Because it has to be done on the place where it happened. Now, what does it mean? For me, it means a complete anarchy, breakdown of police machinery, rather not a breakdown, protecting Marathas and committing atrocities with the help of state against Dalit youth.
Right. So further, like before we wind up, further dissecting this phenomenon, if you can call it, which has come out, where the Maratha community is saying that they feel. I mean, let's not look at it that way. What is the dynamic of, what is the dynamic between the Maratha community and the Dalit community? We can look at this section. Maybe let's look at the case of Nashik. As a police officer, how have you, I mean, one of the major things that the Maratha community has been saying is there's been an increase in violence by Dalits on us. And that could be explained if you just look at the economic means of both the communities. So what has the dynamic between both the communities been? How have the Marathas and the Dalits interacted with each other, and how has each community economically moved upwards, downwards, or whatever it is, so that we can understand how both the communities have existed in this part of town?
Well, with the caste system existing in every place, and Nashik is not an exception to it, there is always a simmering discontent between the communities, and Dalits being or Ambedkarite Dalits or Buddhists being the progressive community. Everywhere, wherever, even if there are 10 Marathas, and if you see there is one Dalit would make his presence felt by his liberal attitude, moreover, by his, progressive attitude. And that somehow, everyone looks at Dalit with the angle that it is not progressive, he is not progressive, he is not liberal, he is anti-Hindu. And that is what has been the constant propaganda by Brahminical machinery, because Brahmin is not seen on these particular riots. But if you see it carefully, the spread of rumors which was done by Brahmins. All WhatsApp groups, those were Brahmin boys who were active, and they were spreading rumors. I had to call police and tell them that, well, this is a man, and see, these are the messages, you please arrest him. They took long time, but finally they arrested, because he was constantly spreading the rumors and instigating Maratha community members, saying that, well, now this is a time to take arms. This is a time to defeat Dalits. This is a time to assault them. This is a time to enter their villages. This is a time to commit atrocities against their women. Because these used to be the slogans when they entered the houses. These used to be slogans when they entered the villages. They used to constantly chant only one slogan, that let us go and get their girls, let us go and get their women. All these kind of things is constantly happening because they are jealous of the progress of Dalits. It's not from the economic point of view, but Dalit youth is liberal, Dalit youth is progressive. He gives value to women, which they do not give. And as a result of that, they are constantly envious about the Dalit youth. Wherever it is, even if it is one teacher and 10 others, he would definitely go ahead and say that let us put Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's portrait frame, let us put Savitri Mai's portrait frame, and all that creates a resentment in the mind of the Caste Hindu communities, Brahmins and particularly Marathas. And the instigation part of it is done by Brahmins in all these cases. And that is how, if you ask me why there is skirmish between the Dalits and Maratha, what I see, what I try to evaluate is Dalit or Ambedkarite Buddhist has left Hindu religion, which they do not like. When they say that we want Hindutva back, they are almost saying that we want Manu back. And the only person who immediately gets up and registers protest in even the public gathering is always a Dalit. So they are, in their mind, they feel that why can't we go ahead and just wipe them out? This is an opportunity to wipe them out. Even to an extent, I went ahead and once I said that this is almost like a decision of Hitler's final solution. That let us get them out, let us get them, wiped out. It is nothing but a genocide. It's a ethnic cleansing. What we see in Rwanda and Burundi, nothing less than that. You see the footages and you will immediately realize somebody playing with the head of the bust of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and they are trying to play football with it on the street. What does it mean? Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar is not the sole icon of the Ambedkarite Buddhist. It is the icon of this nation. Rather, it is the icon of entire progressive society of the world. How dare they do it with Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's head? The bust broken, and then they are playing on the street. What does it mean? It means for me just one thing, that he left Hindu religion. And these people have yet not forgotten. In fact, they should also embrace Buddhist religion because it is a progressive religion. Instead of that, they are trying to protect and say that, well, these people have left Hindu religion, hence we will not spare them. I consider it as absolute ethnic cleansing and genocide, and nothing less than that.
Bringing this conversation to a conclusion, you've already mentioned the kind of atrocities which have happened. We'll also go through that in detail as we see the footages. But where do you see this going? I mean, I've already been told by ma'am that you've been documenting each and every victim story who comes here, and you've been putting together facts, and you intend to get these complaints registered privately in front of a magistrate since FIRs are not being filed. But can you tell us what more is the Nashik Ambedkarite Buddhist Dalit community planning?
Ambedkarite Buddhist and Dalit community basically is trying to amalgamate the progressive forces, maybe OBCs, Adivasis, Muslims, and the Buddhist. And all together we had a meeting, and we might plan a kind of a conference or maybe a peaceful procession to protest and to give assurance to the community members that entire community is with you. You just don't get scared. This is what is happening with us for last 5,000 years. And their 5,000 years civilization was gutted by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar just within 50 years. So now we are the second generation next of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and if somebody tries to throttle the progressive ideology, we would not spare the person, whoever it might be, one who tries to throttle the progressive ideology. Some of the posters of their Maratha morchas say that those who look at the Maratha girls with different eye, or they do not look at the Maratha girl in with proper perspective, or with looks at the Maratha girl with contempt, we will not spare them. So it was just, why Maratha girl? Why not every woman? Now this is what Dalit would say. Why can't you consider all women together? All women say, what is the difference between Maratha women and other women? Why can't you say that we will not tolerate any kind of a contempt, any kind of the outrage of modesty of any woman? Now this particular sentiment is always voiced by Ambedkarite Buddhist, which rather for them objectionable, because they would look at only their own community in a very parochial manner, while the Dalits would look at every entire community as a whole in a very comprehensive manner. This is a sign of progressive mental makeup, which might be is offending to them, because they are basically patriarchal society members. They are basically, they believe in, they are landlords, and they go with those ideologies, feudal system. Now Dalits do not cherish the ideology to be a feudal lord. Dalits do not cherish an ideology to be a member of patriarchal society. Dalits believe in equality. Dalits believe in giving respect to women and having them together at equal footing, which probably they do not like and they resent Dalits. What I see in the future, Ambedkarite Buddhist community, although it has been assaulted very badly today, although atrocities have been committed against the Buddhist community, Ambedkarite Buddhist community, by dominant Maratha caste, we will have to go put a step further and bring entire society together, because that will be the real message which we can give to the world, that we are Ambedkarite. We believe in Constitution. Constitution is our religion. And through Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's Constitution, through his preamble, through his fundamental rights and directive principles and duties, we will see to it that these Marathas which are seen today committing atrocities against Dalit community or Ambedkarite Buddhist are nothing but victims of Manu's ideology. We have to bring them out of Manu ideology. We have to bring them out of Brahminical hegemony. And we have to inform them that you have also been victim, which you are not realizing. You are victimized, we are victimized. Let us be together and defeat Brahminical ideology and Manu and wipe out Manu from this country and the world once and for all. Has been their wrong past and how they are continuing the same wrong future, and they will have to come out of that clutches of Brahminical ideology and free themselves from the Brahminical hegemony is what I foresee if we really try and bring it to the international communities that particular level.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim.